Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you for joining me again here today. I am Monica B. You can find me on Twitter at Miss B the Teacher, as well as Instagram. First, I would like to give honor and respect to the nature for which I've developed the video today. This is done in honor and high respect to the 2020 Black Lives Matters movement and protest. I am seeing more and more active protests over the past 2 weeks, peaceful, some not peaceful. We of the culture do know that our protesting started peacefully. We have had infiltrators to try and turn the tide. I again would like to start by saying that I am sending prayers, I'm sending good thoughts, non-negative energy out to those who are out fighting bodily, physically, and those of us who have tragically lost our lives due to the nature of why we're protesting. I developed this today as I'm in the habit of journaling when things just come through my spirit. I decided that I wanted to make this as a recording to be able to share with other people and do my part as well as I could at this point to be a part of the solution. If you are not doing anything, if you are silent, as much as you don't want to take active ownership that is a part of the problem, it is definitely not a part of the solution. For Black Lives Matter movement and the protests of 2020, we have seen for way too many instances, for the sake of cell phone footage, for the sake of video cameras, body cameras, going back to footage that we've seen decades and centuries of Black people being systematically disrespected, dishonored, and just flat out not treated as human beings. I want to make sure that I do my part to send out positive energy into the world that changes things. I'm a human being. I was born to Black people. I was born as a woman to Black people. And make no mistake about it, I will die as a Black woman, but I will live and die as a human being. At the end of the day, that is every right for every person walking the earth to have the same rights as others. It's time out for us to not voice our opinion. It's time out for those who are in charge of the systems that keep racism in place to move away. There is no doubt a dramatic energy shift in the world. And those who have traditionally been the oppressed, we don't want to oppress anyone. We simply want the right to live as every other human being has the right to live. We don't seek to hate anyone. We don't seek to malign anyone. We don't seek to jail anyone. We don't seek to abuse anyone. We don't seek to hold back anyone. We don't seek to do nothing that we see and receive coming at us daily, one person or the other, in cultures of people, highly melanated, traditionally. With that being said, you guys, I hope this presentation, you take it as it was designed, as a peace offering. Please like, please share, please get the word out. And yes, the title of this oration is My Ancestors Walked. My ancestors walked in Oration, written and spoken by Monica S. Boglin. Again, please find me on Twitter and Instagram at MSB the Teacher. My ancestors walked, my ancestors died, so we could live a life of unity and far less divide. My ancestors walked, my ancestors screamed, so we could have freedoms that they only dreamed. My ancestors walked, my ancestors cried, so we could rise up, not live in hate, fear, and lies. My ancestors walked, my ancestors prayed, so we would know justice one day won't be denied and delayed. My ancestors walked, my ancestors owned the riches, the land, and the earth of the original throne. My ancestors walked, my ancestors bled from slave masters and dogs, and now police choking and shooting us dead. My ancestors walked, my ancestors built this country that we must unite with love, peace, and try to uplift. My ancestors walked. Now this ancestor lives, because in spite of it all, Black people, we're gonna always be here. Thank you again for taking the time to be with me on that quick little presentation. I wanted to put some visuals with it along with what I had on paper, just to give a little bit more fuel to the energy that should be hitting all of us in our hearts and in our minds as we move through life together. As I said earlier, there's definitely an energy shift in the world. Those of us who are preparing to do the real work, not just physically, but metaphysically, light workers of the world, it's up to you to put out consistent, constant, positive energy, because I know the only thing that will overcome hate and fear and anger, all of those which are the building blocks for racism, the only thing that will overcome that is pressure and time. You continue to put out peace and positive energy and pressure and time, things will change. Make no mistake, they have changed. We are not physically in bondage anymore. Some of us still psychologically, but not physically. I'll liken it to a sister, I can't recall her name right now, but a presentation of hers I found on YouTube that said that her version of PTSD is post-traumatic slave disorder. Some of us just grew up in communities that generationally never physically moved away from their oppressors, never filled themselves up with other tools to help them to understand racism and systematic racism. So it becomes second nature. It becomes all that there is. It becomes you agreeing with the devil that you know. You know it's evil, you know it's not right, you know it's negative, but this is the devil that I know. I don't know anything else. It could be worse than what I'm already experiencing. That in and of itself would be another mechanism of fear as to why people systematically have not joined together collectively longer enough ago to make sure that the changes we're seeing now could happen before now. We all know of the civil rights movement. We all know of the end of the Jim Crow era. We all know the end of um, slavery. We know why the Civil War was fought. But we have continued to allow negative energy to place themselves in position of privilege and power. Time is out for all of that. Every human being deserves the right to be treated and viewed as a human being. The oppressed, formerly oppressed, those who have experienced some sort of oppression, let me get this out to every racist that's out there, and trust and believe your racist ideas are yours. Your discriminations are yours. It is just when your ist, the IST becomes an ism, an ISM, it becomes an act against someone who looks like me. Highly melanated person of color. I don't particularly like boiled okra, but I am not running around in the earth oppressing okra from growing, okra from being on someone's farm, okra from making its way to a grocery store and other people buying okra and boiling okra. I don't do that. And I hate that I've had to make these very childlike analogies to get the point of racism across to racists, because the environmental DNA that they find themselves living every day is all that they've known. So again, just as the oppressed have not collectively or generationally done enough to eliminate their oppression. We've done just enough to get just enough, if that makes sense. Racists do the same thing. It's a form, no doubt, of Stockholm syndrome, where you not love, it's no real nurturing there, but you have just become attached again to the evil, to the devil that you know, because anything outside of that, I have no idea what that looks like, what it feels like, what it should be like, even though it could be better and healthier for me. With that, I've found myself as a teacher trying to break down that analogy through my years of teaching as it's come up to people, that they can understand what racism is. And it's far deeper than a person of this color not liking a person of this color. It is systemic in their families. It is generational in their families. So as the oppressed, you have oppressors. That is a human condition, to have one human being feel that it is their right and privilege and entitlement to hold back, hold down, hold under, keep down another person, race, color, or creed, religion, down, under, ... for the purpose of keeping me here. It's truly rooted in narcissism. It's beyond imperialism. It's beyond capitalism. It is a socialized disease. For those who don't really want to admit to any thoughts or actions that they've ever taken in life as a racist, those who choose to remain silent when racism is clearly apparent, denying that racism exists is the new racism. Because as long as we don't revisit that history, we don't have to correct that history from repeating and happening again. Human beings are not very evolved. We are not as enlightened collectively as we would like to think. So the whole idea of being privileged and power is false. We know it. Fake as fuck. Yes. Make no mistake about it. People of color are fighting today and we're protesting today because we're fucking tired of seeing people of color systematically, specifically at the hands of police, die and their death not be properly honored, which is another way of disrespecting their life as a human being. But the police are only doing what they've been taught. So where are the faces of police chiefs and police instructors that are at these police academies, your police chiefs that hire these police recruits, and you give them whatever minimum training, probably no social or emotional learning. You don't screen whether or not these people are racist before you hire them and put them into a department and give them a gun and a badge and a paycheck. And you allow them to go out into the world to continue to commit these atrocities. I hope you guys watched on the last slide there that there were several videos that I wanted to make, photos, I'm sorry, that I put together in the collage that can take us back to at least the 50s or 60s to what we're seeing now. People on the ground, batons on their necks, dogs at them, people now that are having dogs attacked in their own home. Leaves on your neck. I can't breathe. A person is telling you that they can't breathe. They are suffocating. Gun, badge, uniform or not. It is in no way, shape, form in your humanity to allow this person to draw breath. That is not just a problem about police brutality. That is a problem in your DNA as a human being. You've been socialized to not see anything that looks like this as someone who deserves respect of someone whose skin looks like that. So yes, Black people are doing what they need to do, and those who are not Black and other people of color are doing what you will do when a powder keg is set to do what a powder keg does. We are not talking about the looters and rioters, as we know that there are people that do not look like this, that probably look like this, that are infiltrating the movement for the purpose of creating discord. Looting and rioting has never been a part of the Black Lives Matter movement. There's never been a part of any of the socialized protests that we have initiated. People come out in the dead of night and they loot and they start fires and they throw bricks and there's graffiti and there's all forms of disrespect. But the Black faces, the majority of us are the ones that you see in media every day, so we automatically get blamed. We're tired of that fuckery too. My sisters and brothers that are out fighting physically and bodily, may you hear my prayers and thoughts of protection for you. Those of us who are at home, that you're seeing and hearing it every day, it is no reason that some of us, if not a good portion of us, are not going to develop some sense, literally, of PTSD, any other type of physical body injuries that can happen to us. But please know that you have a full spiritual army behind you. Whatever it takes for you to participate, uphold, uplift, pray for those sisters and brothers, please do so. The families of those who have lost their loved ones to police brutalities and murders, send them your thoughts, send them your well wishes. they will need it. We don't need celebrities. We don't need politicians anymore to teach us how to be human beings. Give me a fucking break. Human beings, unfortunately, again, are not highly evolved creatures. Human beings have to teach other human beings how to be human beings. I watch the Discovery Channel, Nat Geo. You see animals be born all the time, wild animals, elephants, lions, tigers, bears. Through socialized development in that community of other creatures that look like them, other elephants, other lions, tigers, bears, giraffes, horses. A horse teaches a horse how to be a horse. A giraffe teaches a giraffe how to be a giraffe. Lions don't teach lions how to be hippopotamuses. So why is it that human beings have such a hard time teaching other human beings how to be human beings? Somewhere along the line, you make a choice. I don't give a fuck what your upbringing or your environment was about. You make it a choice to choose to do negative shit. What we have to stop doing is believing the fallacies that racists spew to us every day. And they wear a nice face and they show up and they're such a nice person, they get elected in office. And then, wow, I don't know. How did this happen? What are these laws? And boom, leaders of your country, such as the one that I live in, spew hate, dog whistle hate. And when hate shows up and when hate acts out, people should learn to do as they should be taught to do. And that's what we're dealing with, a human condition of this ugliness, of this disease, socialized disease that we call racism. It's time out. We're done. No more. The oppressed does not wish to oppress anyone. We are simply tired of being fucking oppressed. Again, thank you for joining me. I hope this message reaches you well. Please like, share, comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And thank you again for joining me on Confessions of Being a Woman. Free the land, beloved. All Black lives have always mattered, and they always will. Namaste.